Well, hello, and thanks for checking out. I'm not recording this again. And thanks for checking out a conversation with Connor, the drummer and a singer in Chase the Bear from Vancouver. Yeah. This has got cheese, it's got coughing, it's got everything you need for the most awesome intro to a video and conversation with ever. For more coughing, cheesing, and conversationing, go to whatwasthatradio.com if you so please. Here's Connor.
Hello, John Williams.
Hello, Connor. How are you?
I'm doing great. Your house looks so good. That is adorable.
Oh, that's all my partner Jody and Harley's design. We got these Canadian Tire skull lights going on. I know I'm a bit bright on this Logitech camera, but for the stream and the viewers, it's looking very crisp and sharp on the Canon. But yeah, that's all down to Jody, man. She loves the 70s and that gold and yellow aesthetic.
Yeah, wow. Look at those skull lights. Those are incredible.
Yeah, Canadian Tire, $25. In fact, today when I was in there, they went up to $35. That's how popular these are.
Holy shit, they knew. And They were like, nope, people are getting away with too much.
Yeah.
Here, I just put in my headphones. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we got some stuff on the windows. We got some pumpkin. We got this little pumpkin guy hanging out. Adorable. And then we put this cute little witch and Frankenstein guy.
Yeah.
And then our little Halloween sign. Then look, our plant has little skulls on them.
And they're purple skulls too, my favorite color.
Oh yes, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, so I know that we were chatting a couple of days ago. I don't know if you even had a chance to connect with the other guys yet. Are they aware of this, or?
I told them about it. I haven't heard back from them about it. I'm guessing that means that they're not available tonight.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So you're just gonna have to settle with the drummer. Sorry.
No. You are such an incredible talent, Connor. And thanks for putting the old phone in widescreen mode. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, we got enough press for our last song that I know better now.
Yeah, now you've become the main TikTok influencer in the band the last few months, it seems.
Yeah, man, I'm the social media guy now. It's a job for sure.
Yeah, so
but it's fun, you know.
Where to start, really? I mean, we've known each other at an arm's reach. You know, we've been very lucky to cross paths in instances here and there, mainly where you have just been playing like a rabid rabbit. I mean, when I saw you for the first time at the Capitol Ballroom, when you had that drum solo and you stood up and you worked around the whole room, off the stage, on the stage, the walls, the the ceilings. I mean, I was just blown away by it, because what was so cool about that is that usually when someone does have that kind of confidence, there's that very slim chance that there's also going to be a bit of arsehole that appears as well, like this sort of poutiness. But that's what I was saying before you joined me, is that something that I love about the band so much is that it's just so pure. It's just Chase the Bear is Chase the Bear. You're not trying to be anything that you aren't interested in, or you're not trying to fit any molds of what is the current thing right now. You guys all just genuinely seem to love each other and love making classic rock and roll.
That, you nailed it, man. Thank you. Fuck, I wish I was writing that down. That's better than the first review you did. No.
Yeah.
That first review, we've used that. Sorry, excuse me. I'm just putting some stuff up so I can have a makeshift tripod.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
I'm stacking my phone on. Let's see. How do I don't know. Oh yeah, there we go. I've got a carton of oat milk and this cup. And so I'm gonna put it on there. So then Wait. There. So now I'm not like there. So it's like eye level.
I thought that was a glass of activated charcoal for a second then. Is that just a black cup? What is that?
That's just like the sleeve of the cup. It's like the silicone sleeve.
My partner Jody would have been so happy with you to see oat milk and activated charcoal within very close circumference of each other. That's very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I got the charcoal face scrub for a second, but I ran out and then it hurt my face, so I decided to stop doing that.
Oh, fair enough. I remember years ago. Did you ever try the like rock diamond deodorant where we were conned into just buying a piece of stone and rubbing it under our armpits and then burning for 3 days and saying, "It's okay, I don't smell. Don't smell." You ever try that?
Yeah, I saw it at the store just the other day, actually, and I was like, huh. And, interesting. It looks painful. Honestly, it just looks
it's awkward because
not pleasant.
They say do it you need to do it for like 14 days, a couple of weeks until your body gets used to the fact that you're just not using, man-made deodorant anymore.
Deodorant. Yeah, exactly. Much like shampoo.
Yeah, and that's all well and good, but I found that after a month, I was still sweating enough to literally fill a bathtub in a day, more so than I did, and that's just sat still. Like I wasn't even exercising, so this didn't make any sense to me.
You're just a naturally sweaty dude.
No, I'm not. I'm not a naturally sweaty dude. That's my point. Is I feel that the earth brought the sweat out of me in a way that it wasn't meant to. It was meant to contain the sweat, but instead it turned on the tap and just let the fucker run. That's what happened.
Okay. You got away with words, John.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hello to Jody and Harley. That's my partner and her son, Harley, who's 8 in the kitchen, who are waving in the chat. Hello to Trucker Steve, who's probably on the road right now, working another 25-hour day. And a hello to CJ over in Salt Spring. Thanks for being here. And
what's up, guys?
We've also got Shy in the chat, Commander in the chat, Alicia in the chat as well. Hello to all of you. So yeah, this is Connor, the drummer of Chase the Bear. They're based out of Vancouver. And I think the first thing I want to pitch to you is what I'm going to be, just to get ahead of ourselves. I knew there would be a chance that we wouldn't get all of you guys in because you're just all working, and then when you can come together as a band, time it's just precious time. And so like one thing,
yeah, it's true. Well, you know what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to share the Zoom link into our band chat.
Yeah.
Just in case people are like, oh, I don't know how to do it. Or, like musicians.
Here we go.
I'm going to, yeah.
All right. Whilst you do that, I'll do some hold music.
Yeah.
I'll do some hold music. Da 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 dee da boo da doo da 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 dee dee da 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 do da 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 do. Contacting bear chasers initiated. Okay, so
hold up, reception's being weird.
I got you.
Reception's being strange. You're frozen.
Wow, Trucker Steve saying in the chat that he's been working since 3:45 a.m. Oh my god, dude.
You're a black screen. I'm gonna go into the bedroom. Maybe the reception is better.
Okay. That's the thing when you live with 33,000 people, your Wi-Fi sucks. He's not going to hear that joke. He would laugh at that joke if he heard it. Theo has started aggressively kneading to the left-hand side of me here. He will return.
Hello.
He has returned.
There we go.
There we go.
Sorry about that. I feel like my Wi-Fi is weird in this place because there's 3 different networks that they're all the same password. So I think my phone routinely switches between them, and it causes like a momentary lapse in the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
hopefully that doesn't happen again.
I'm with Freedom Mobile, and so whenever I go in the new Sure hotspot, it switches and it always interrupts everything. And I know how you feel with that. It always interrupts my favorite song, which I say about every song, but it's always right when you're about to wail. It's like zing, gone, and then it says ah, oh, awkward. That's fine. Great, thank you. So
that's what I sound like.
The first thing I want to put to you now that we're grounded and we're situated in home base, that is your bedroom, or you're raiding someone else's. Where are you?
This is my bedroom right now. My very pink bedroom that we painted recently.
Oh, lovely.
Me and my partner Julie.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can tell it's your bedroom in a house of multiple people because there's a huge fucking TV behind you and a bed and very little of anything else. So there we go. The something that I'm working on.
Yeah. Julie's parents are visiting from France right now. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to get to that.
Sorry, there's a bit of a delay here.
There is slight delay, but it'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
I'm very chilled about the delay. I'm just hesitant to the fact that as soon as
Katie.
Oh, in fact, the delay is so Oh, can you see this cat? Oh, you can see Theo.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this delay is so trippy. How many fingers am I holding up?
17.
Okay.
Man, I thought those were hot dogs, dude.
Oh my God. Right.
How about now? You good now?
I've been pretty fine the whole time. I'm pretty blissed out, to be honest with you. Just looking at your face is good enough for me. Whether we are on the same wavelength or in a different dimension, that's a bonus.
You're too kind. I think we're back to normal now.
Okay. Something that I'm working on, and we're going to start. I haven't planned anything because I know that we can just talk and talk and talk and it'll be effortless. But something that I haven't shared with you that I'd like to work on, that I am working on, is live shows. And what I mean by that with What Was That Radio is me doing my version of like a CBCQ back in the day, like a late night show, but not obviously with a bunch of sketches and stuff, or maybe, but basically bringing in a couple of bands and having a sit down conversation with them in a venue or a theater. And it's as simple as that. And so I would love, if you guys are all interested, I'm applying for grants right now through Creative and Music BC. I would love to team you up with a potential, I can tell you when we're not live streaming, with a big hitter from over here. And I think it would be awesome to have them, someone very different from a different world, not music at all. And then you, I think it would be an incredible showcase to do, because at the same time, it would be inspired by like Graham Norton in the UK, who has all his hosts and interviewees. They come out at the same time. Like there's no one after the other after the other. They're all there. They can all intermingle and all be a part of the conversation and be comfortable to flow, not necessarily having to focus on them the whole time, and it can move around and they can interview and be involved in it. And I think that you guys would be phenomenal at doing that, let alone the performance-wise. So I'm just planting that seed now that if I do get those grants, that maybe early to Easter next year, it would be sweet to do that in like an Alex Gordon Hall or I don't think we'll do the Royal Theatre to start with. That's a bit grandiose, but we'll start smart. But I
like your attitude.
Thanks. I think, but it has to be you guys, because going back to the live show, for those that have recently joined us, and how many shows have you guys done now? It seems like every other week, other than the pandemic, there was gigs.
We have a fan in Victoria who knows the exact number of every show that we've done and what year we did them. And I don't remember the exact number, but I feel like we're around 200 now, probably. Wait, I'm going to send her a message and she's probably going to message back in like within the next 5 minutes. How many shows have we played, not including acoustic and radio? Because she'll be like, do you mean like including acoustic shows and like radio performances? And she's her name's Molly, best fan ever, and the future writer of our biography.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, I was going to quip it's not someone's mum or grandmother, but no, when you said Molly and revealed all.
I'm also surprised. Yeah.
Just bonkers.
I mean, my mom is our biggest fan, of course. Molly will be our second biggest fan.
There we go.
Got to give it to the mums. But yes, we are that's such a good idea. Like the whole interview thing on stage with like live, that's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, and hopefully it would, depending on the grants that we get, we'd have a film crew there as well to either stream it as well as live or to have the footage for afterwards. And the most important thing with everything, what was that, is that anyone that I converse with or I do anything with, it's as much their art as it is mine. So anything that you'll want to use after this, should you want to, you can have it. I can give you all that you require. And it would be the same with that, just allowing people to go out there and then clip it and share it, whether I'm in it or not. It's about, one of the coolest things with What Was That Jody and I have been talking about this week is that in every conversation I've had, and there's been over 80 since I launched the station 2 years ago now, I've said to each band, oh, you might like so-and-so from this part of the world and that part of the world and this part of the world, and particularly choosing an Oceania, an Asia, a Europe, and a South America, or whatever it might be, for example. And what's really cool now is that there's a band called Bong Lord who are from Holland, who Psychedelic Porn Crumpets from Australia. I told Jack about them. He looked them up, and they had them open for them across their European dates. And then another band that I spoke to, the Tasers from South Africa, they've reached out to Bong Lord, who I told both bands about, and they're now going, Bong Lord are going to South Africa for the first time ever to team up with the Tasers, and then likewise the Tasers will go to Holland for the first time ever to team up with them. And my point being around that, my thought behind it is that it's not like when the Hip could just travel across Canada, play every venue in every city and every small town and have people spread word of mouth. There's the internet now, there's instant yes or no. And if you're going to go and make those big moves, you need to have some kind of foundation allowance in knowing that you are going to be able to survive getting gig to gig, venue to venue, and not just going at a loss and coming back 20 grand in debt. And let's just segue into Rock is Dead, because I know that we've been speaking for, it feels like 2.5, 3 years, and you've consistently and flirtatiously said, no, I can't tell you anything. I can't tell you. But now the cat's out the bag. So how long has this process taken? Why did it take so long? Have you got the deal that you as a band wanted, that you can be trusted to keep doing your own thing and not changing and still being Chase the Bear? And what are the next few months like with that all in mind?
Well, we ended up meeting Danny Craig. He was the drummer, still is the drummer in a Canadian rock band that was pretty popular in the early 2000s called Default. They had a hit with a song called Wasting My Time, and their singer Dallas Smith is now a country singer. But so Danny was the judge for like a Battle of the Bands competition we did in Vancouver in 2017. So that's kind of like when that seed first got put in, where he gave us his card. He said, hey, I'm a producer. Maybe we can do something. So we ended up winning that competition. And then the prize was to work with a member of the music industry who their band ended up having a bunch of allegations come out against them, turning out that they were big creeps. And so we were like, fuck that. We don't want to do that anymore. It was pretty weird and a strange experience for us. But then Danny came out and was like, hey, you guys want to record a song? And kind of like in this way of, it seemed like he could see what happened. And, he kind of wanted to throw us a bone. That's what it seemed at the time. I don't know if that's true, but this is before he even had a record label or anything. He just wanted to record a song with us. So he was just like, yeah, I'll record a song with you guys. And the whole deal that we had was that we didn't have to pay for recording until after the profits were made back from the streaming. After the profits were made back, we would split it 50-50. That's like the whole deal, one of the fairest deals that you can ever get in the music industry. So yeah, it's like free recording. And then one song was turned into 3 songs. And then after we did 3 songs, we was like, all right, let's do an album. And then we ended up doing 12 songs. But between the Battle of the Bands and us actually being in the studio was probably 2 years, I want to say, of just like going back and forth, sending him demos, him coming to a practice space, just like things happened really slow. And then, we ended up recording the drums at Hipposonic Studios in Vancouver. And then we recorded everything else at his home studio in Chilliwack, which took months of like vocal take after vocal take, guitar take after guitar take, because the whole thing about the album was that we didn't want to quantize it. We didn't want to like take everything in a computer and make sure that every note fit to a grid. And then, Molly got back to me. Apparently we've played 115 shows.
Wow.
Cool. That's good, good
Thank
to know.
you, Molly. Molly is on it. That's you were right. That was literally like 7 minutes. You said 5. Wow. Thank you, Molly.
Yeah. That's hilarious. And then, yeah. So we.
Just quickly.
Again?
Sorry, I'll remind you. Can you ask her how many suits has Troy sweat through in those 120 plus shows? How many sticks have you broken? And yeah, we'll see if she's got that intel or not. But you were discussing the months and months it took due to you didn't want to quantize. And a quick question to throw in as you jump back on that is, I'm presuming then you don't play with a click track.
I do.
You do.
So
now that's interesting.
yes.
Expand on that.
So I was playing to a click, a metronome for those who don't know what a click track is. And yeah, like the whole idea was that the drums were done and the band would record to my drums, whether I was playing a little bit faster than the click, which was most of the time, or, you know, like a little slower or whatever. Danny didn't take my drums and, you know, be like, oh, this snare is a bit too quick, I'm going to put that here. It was just, this is what it is. However, he did kick my ass to make sure that I was on top of it in the take as much as possible. And he kicked everybody else's ass as they were recording the guitar. They were like, he would be like, Connor is rushing in this fill, meaning you have to play faster. So, you know, everything sounds tight on the record, but it's not tight in like a radio rock kind of way where it's to the grid. It still feels like a rock band, you know? So that was really nice to know, because he comes from that like early 2000s radio rock sound with his band Defaults, touring with Nickelback, you know, Theory of a Dead Man, all these bands that had that like quantized sound. I was honestly a little scared that we were going to end up sounding like that. And no offense to those bands, they have done incredible things. And, you know, I just didn't want that for our band. And it didn't end up like that. And I was just like so excited for the way that it sounded. It sounds like pro, but not contrived, you know?
Yeah,
you've heard it.
That's fascinating to know. A side note, that when you mentioned Nickelback, have I been saying your name wrong all these years? Is it Con Air or it is Connor?
It's Connor. Yeah.
Okay, just checking. I mean, I know Chad lately. Back to you. So but that legit is fascinating. That when you play live, you've got no click, right? I'm presuming live is just you guys just doing your thing.
I play to a click live.
Oh, you do as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that is such an interesting way of going about it, and I love the fact that Craig seems so detailed in being like, no, he's rushing in this 4-bar. You must accelerate with him. And the other cool thing about this that is interesting to me is that many of these songs you've been playing for 3-4 years at this point. Some of these songs that, like, you know, Underwater and the first few singles, I've seen you perform and I've seen them grow and improve on stage across 3-4 years. So what was the reaction? What maybe is a song that you thought, I've got this completely, as a band, we've got this dead on. Like we're going to get this bashed out in a day or two. And then it resulted in being very different. Yeah. And maybe you learned different nuances that weren't quite ready and little gaps that needed addressing. What was one example?
Well, we have a song on the album called Wild Heart. And it was originally called Starburns, named after the character in the show Community, who has star-shaped sideburns, because the lyrics go, "I love you longer than the stars burn." But we're like, it's fucking Starburns, you know, like that's just how we named it. But we used to have a bridge in this song that was like completely different. It would go in, it was like an Arctic Monkeys kind of vibe, you know, like lots of triplet feel. It sounded like a different song in the bridge. And so like, and I loved it. And I was so heartbroken to hear that Danny was like, man, it's just like, it takes you away from the song. I feel like I'm not in the song anymore, and it's, you know, it doesn't capture the vibe of what was before. And I get what he means now, but in the studio, he wanted us to write a new bridge. So like we're sitting there for an hour, 2 hours, just like thinking of different chord progressions and different ways that we can go from, you know, the end of the second chorus into the bridge, which in pop rock music is, you know, where you put your bridge. And yeah, we ended up writing a completely different bridge, which works for that song way better, in my opinion.
Oh, looking forward to hearing that. So at what point during this process did Craig...
Yeah.
At what point during the process did Craig say, okay, we've recorded lots, maybe I've written this contract, you want to sign it? How did that emerge?
I believe that happened. So what ended up happening is that we recorded the whole album, and then he was kind of like, hey, I'm going to turn this into a record label. And then he got a contract signed. It was definitely after the entire album was recorded. So there was a little bit there where we're like, we don't really have these songs yet, do we? Like, you know, we're like, we haven't paid for them, and we haven't been guaranteed that we'll be able to use them either. So there was this limbo of, you know, not knowing what the whole deal was, but COVID happened, you know? So we just had to trust in Danny and trust that he knew what he was doing, and he was serious about putting this label together. And he was, fortunately. And then he ended up adding his other bandmate from Default, Dave, who is a videographer, photographer, and graphic designer. So he's done our photos, the video for Underwater, and a lot of the graphics that we've had recently.
Oh, right. I'm putting the two and two together now, because he messaged me on Instagram and said, thanks for actually tagging a photographer. And I think that's just one of the things that is so important. It's like you sometimes it bugs me when you don't see photographers tagged, you don't see who's written a blog tagged, and everyone's a part of the artistic rollout, release, vision, creative, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's proud of it. You know?
So now that's it's interesting, because you were saying, you know, that is the thing. If you've recorded it in his studio, it's as much his as it is yours. Now you have that agreement in place. It is your music. You own it. And with Underwater, I mean, did I interrupt something that you wanted to go into before I move to the next thought?
Well, you know what? I just wanted to see if I could share this link onto our like Instagram story real quick so people can watch live. I just wasn't aware that there would be people watching live, and I want people from
yeah, man. I said live
to be watching it.
Yeah, live stream. Twitch.tv/whatwasthatradio.
Okay, perfect.
I'll play the hold music whilst you do it.
So it's
Twitch.tv/.
What was that radio?
Yeah, you got
perfect.
it. Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
Forgive me.
Okay, lovely.
Please
forgive me. Yeah. Anyway.
Cool. It's good to hear that you're still doing stuff in Victoria, man. I love Victoria, and yeah, it's just great that you're still there.
I love it too. It's a very special place. It would be nice if it rained, but I love it too. It's
yeah.
It was a thought with when I initially left the zone. I had this sort of lingering feeling of maybe I need to just leave the entire city, maybe even the whole side of the country, and just go to Halifax or something and completely reset. And then when my partner Jody was into that, we were looking, and, you know, so we really dove deep into like, maybe this is it, peace. But ultimately there's just so much of my family and her family here, and not immediate family for me, like third, fourth cousins and whatnot. And also just, I really love this island and this city, and I want to continue to grow and build here for now. And you never know what's going to happen, but it was just such a strange, I'm very thankful for the connection that we have because it's not changed. A lot of connections, when I left the zone, a lot changed. Some people were like, "Oh, great, peace, you're dead to me now. I don't need you." That's just I didn't. I
really unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that was how it was. I thought, I always carry my heart on my sleeve, and that whether I'm at this station or another station or on no station, that the same human will always be there. But everyone's trying to do the best for themselves and to grow at whatever rate they deem success to be grown at. But for me, I had to step aside and do this because I wanted to push my passions to their utmost. And I mean, when the band, and I've said this multiple times to people when it comes up, but when the band that I used to be in had to shut up shop, there was that big hole missing of having a project in my life where you didn't know what was going to happen with it. I knew that I was passionate and that I would go to the end of the world and push it to the utmost, but you didn't know if it would succeed or not. And so it just felt too comfortable. And even with the pandemic, when the pandemic came around, it just felt like a time where the whole world's going to go through shit. I predicted maybe lockdowns for 3 or 4 years. That seems like the best time at 35 years old to peace out and to build something in the darkness, in the quiet, and then gradually let it just grow. And so, what was that is now
very cool.
It's now 2 years and a month old, I think. And of the $30,000 in and around that I've earned, I've donated over 75% of it to independent bands and to the mental health of those that support me, because I believe in the longevity
Congratulations.
of it. And so I work at Thrifty Foods and I stack produce shelves to make sure that I can build this shrewdly and at the right pace. That's what's so paramount to it. There's no rush to it. And I know it's going to work. I know that the world is looking for a modern rock station, purely modern rock. I mean, there's nothing older than 4 years old here. 90% of the playlist is released from 2020 onwards. And as soon as that Chase the Bear record comes out, you goddamn know every single song is going to go onto the station's playlist because it's just so good. It's been years in the making. And that's how I'm segueing it back to you, Connor, drummer of Chase the Bear, in the sense that the Underwater video, over 120,000 views, man.
It's crazy, right?
How does that feel? What the hell?
It feels literally unreal. Like we had to make sure that they weren't buying bots to. I was like, "Is this shit legitimate?" Yeah, and they're like, "Yeah, it's some real shit. It's very cool. It's very sweet." Yeah, man.
What do you think is built into that? I mean, I know it was thrown into the hat for the Canucks goal song, was it not?
Yeah.
That's got a big chunk to do with it. A bunch of hockey fans being like, well, fucking, this ain't Eddie Vedder, whatever. Right? This ain't the Fratellis. We can't stand the Fratellis, but we'd consider it if it was a different song in our house. But that's a little bit of it. But what else do you think is leading to that?
Well, I think what ended up building it is we got put on to a lot of playlists, which was nice. Thanks to our label who had the connection with Spotify. They were able to personally suggest our song for their playlists, not only on Spotify, but Apple Music and YouTube Music as well. So that's like one of the big things where being part of a label is super advantageous because Rock is Dead Records started connecting with 604 Records. And 604 Records has been a record label for I don't know how long, but they've got at least 20 years of connections with the music industry. So they were able to, they can literally say, "Hi, John at Spotify Canada, would you like to put this, song on your playlist?" So I feel like that's a big part of it, but also ads, just YouTube ads, a lot of the revenue that they put aside for marketing was put into YouTube ads, and that translated into real plays. So, a lot of people saw the video as an ad on another video. They clicked on it, they watched it, and hopefully they enjoyed it.
That's definitely something that I think is the main thing I'm going to dive into is YouTube ads for what was that, like 3-5 second ads. Now that the new beta apps are out and I've built everything looks and sounds how I wanted it to, how I wished it to rather. And Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's a fascinating. The YouTube world is fascinating. I mean, on Spotify, the play count right now is just flirting with 8,000, whereas that YouTube is 127,000, I think, in this moment, which is still bonkers. But I mean,
what the hell? Like they saw the video. I keep changing the lighting because I keep looking at my own face, and I'm like, what is that lighting? What is that lighting radio?
I thought we were pretty good the last 25. No, we were all right.
There we go. That's a bit better. Anyways, I forgot what we were talking about.
YouTube.
Oh yeah. Like, I guess they saw the video once and we're like, yep, that's enough. And they didn't go over to Spotify. Or what's also positive is that people listen to music on YouTube as well without having a Spotify or Apple Music subscription. I know I used to do that pre-Spotify for years and years. I would discover so many musicians just listening to their full albums on YouTube and then going on to YouTube-mp3.com.
Yeah. Yeah, it's now called youtube.mp3.com, the 58,000th after the prior 57,999 got shut down.
Yeah, I know.
To be honest with you, the YouTube algorithm, I have two accounts. I have like Williams of John, and then I have What Was That Radio. And Williams of John, the YouTube algorithm is like, here's wrestling videos, here's more wrestling videos, here's more wrestling videos from the Attitude Era. Grow up. It's not 1995 anymore. And then on my What Was That Radio one, like just from me doing What Was That and building my own playlists there of all modern rock, I discover at least when I sit down every Thursday night around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., because then the Eastern time when all the new releases come out, I will find 4 or 5 brand new songs and artists that didn't know existed on that Thursday night, Friday morning with YouTube. The algorithm in YouTube music is built so profoundly the last 3 or 4 years that it is a go-to source. I have 400 blogs from all around the world that are all bookmarked in different spots as well that I'll go to jump into South Africa and France and Australia, etc. But it is becoming very streamlined now, especially where a lot of these blogs, you'll see this, it's just the same blog on a different site in a different country. And I think gradually as companies are merging and Rupert Murdoch is buying everything that says .media at the end of it, now I'm streamlining down to maybe 100 go-to blogs instead of the 400 of the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. But no, it's a really powerful tool. It's but a question that I don't want to lose sight of that popped into my mind, and this is not set up for you to trip over at all, is Rock is Dead Records. I love the discussion around Rock is Dead because in my opinion, rock is not dead. It's as powerful as it's always been. But it really boils down to how people can access what rock is. You go to NME.com or Kerrang.com, you're not getting what you got 10, 15, 16 years ago. You're getting a more multicultural, streamlined pop culture look at music. And so did you ever put it to Mr. Craig and say, what do you mean rock is dead and you're signing us? We're fucking the epitome of rock and roll.
No, I mean, when he told us, he was like, it's like, yeah, I got a name for the label. Rock is Dead Records. And we're like, all right. That was pretty much it, man. We were just like, all right, it's kind of cool. It's got like, I see where he's like, going with it. It's a very nice like irony to it's almost a statement made for controversy. It reminds me of like hearing about Sub Pop records and just like their attitude towards independent music back in the 90s, just like having zero faith in what is happening in today's music world and trying to build something different and new, even though we're not like indie grunge bands or whatever. But yeah, I like it. I'm warming up to it now, and I'm starting to appreciate the attitude behind it,
Yeah, I think it is a suave and cheeky poke at exactly what you just said with Sub Pop. I'm glad that you said that, actually. I was going to throw that in there, but I think it's ultimately just a very cheeky why don't you just step inside and have a look at what we got here? Because I think you'll find that it's the polar opposite of what we're titled as. It mainly bums me out because I feel like it's almost a waste of a question when you see all these artists that are being interviewed backstage at Reading or Leeds or whatever major festival it is, Coachella, and they're asked, what do you think about rock being dead? And it just seems like we're just the main, and I'm not against mainstream. The mainstream media are fucking liars. I'm not getting crazy. I'm just saying that in my 20 years of being able to converse with people, it's not really a question that I ever started asking until it became this 2015. Every article on all the major blogs was rock is dead, rock is dead, rock is dead. But then that's when Royal Blood showed up. That's when, like, how can you? So, and then you've got like these big stars, Gene Simmons to Robert Plant to all sorts of people that are just so historically famous in the world of classic rock, saying we're passing the baton to these people. Rock is not dead. They will carry it. It just feels like everyone's just got so in their own little world of clickbait that they've lost track of what's actually going on. And they don't actually care because they don't want to research what's going on. This is why I built this radio station. Like, you can't say that you can't find great new music when I've got 5,000 bands here and over 7,000 songs. And your main commercial radio will have a playlist of no more than 180 to 250 songs in rotation. And over 80% of those will be songs from at least 7 years back to 25 years ago, no matter what demographic and genre they are. So I just find it, anyway, I just find it kind of a wasted.
I could absolutely like go another 10 years without being in my car or a grocery store and hearing, "Are you going to be my girl again?" Like, I've heard that song. I've played it in 5 bands.
I was going to say, I've seen
Are
you
You Gonna
play
Be My Girl and Seven Nation Army, as much as they will go down as the Stairway to Heavens and the Sweet Child of Minds of our generation. But I'm just like, I skip those songs. I change the channel when I'm in my car listening to the radio and those songs come on now. It's like I've heard the same rock music since I was 11 years old, like it's, so I'm with you.
Yeah. It's just, I would always say, why can't we, with a song like Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana or Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden or Even Flow by Pearl Jam or Smashing Pumpkins Landslide, whatever it might be, why can't we have this on Separation where it plays once a month and it might play at 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. or 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., but it's once a month? Because for me, it's how can you make those classics retain that classic energy in making them special even 30 years later? And I think then if you have them pop into that, but I'm one brain, but that's just what I think. And
you worked in radio, so you know exactly why they can't do that.
Yes, because
they need listeners to listen to ads, John.
Yeah, we need familiarity of the last 30 years. Yes. Anyway.
They can't get anything too alternative or too strange, because then they'll change the channel and they won't want to buy the new Mitsubishi.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and CJ saying in the chat, or they actually play unplanned tracks. Yeah, I mean, I think you might be speaking to like KXP. What I love about KXP in Seattle is that they allow the DJ to come in each day and just build their show. It's different every day. There might be similar artists, but it's going to be a new experience for the most part every day. Anyway, out of the radio world and back into the Chase the Bear world, what can you share about the record and about what appears next? Because there's very little. It's top secret right now, I know. But what is coming? Surely there's something else any day now.
Well, yeah, we just released 5 More Minutes, which is my first song as a singer.
Yeah, well, but
in Chase the Bear.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to drum and sing at the same time is a skill. To be able to drum and sing in the way that you do is quite simply, in my opinion, world class. Even though you will deflect that and go shucks, but you are a world class musician. But when's the music video out? That's the next step for that, right? Next Friday, this Friday, what?
Dude, that's coming out this Friday.
Nice.
I need to promote that like today. Fuck.
Yes. Yes. I haven't seen it on TikTok or Instagram.
Post.
Yeah.
God damn it. I was working all day today. It's hard to do both. Yeah, it's not too late. I'll do two. I'll do one tonight, and then I'll do one tomorrow early. We've got tons of good like behind the scenes footage for the video. It's hilarious. It's directed by our keyboardist Kevin, and he is an director. He's got his own production company in Vancouver called Project AM Films, and they do tons of great stuff. And it's just hilarious. We got a guy in a mattress costume, and we're gonna kick his ass.
What? That reminds me of the Colors video with the burgers, the ketchup burgers being thrown at each other. What was the thought behind that before we get back to 5 more minutes?
So for all those that don't know, Colors is Chase the Bear's first ever music video. Or no, it wasn't Colors, it was Heartache.
Oh, sorry, it was Heartache. That's because I said Colors.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we were gonna do a Colors video, then that fell through. But while that was still happening, we're like, oh, let's do a video for Heartache, even though it's not like our most popular song or whatever. So our most popular song doesn't have a video. Anyways, for the Heartache video, it was a student film, final project.
Right.
And then we had zero context for what was happening. We didn't have a script. We didn't have a shot list. We had no idea what the concept was. We were told, stand here and do this. Here's a bag of burgers. We're going to throw them. And then we saw the finished product and we're like, all right. That was pretty cool.
I need to send you when I have a song of the week, and I had song of the week with Underwater when it came out. I do for patrons and subscribers. So a lot of this content is behind closed doors for 5 weeks until I release it publicly, and then it does what it does in the algorithms. But I do a deep dive video every Wednesday, usually 20 to 40 minutes on that band. And, you know, with that song to finish it, but about the history, I've got to link you after this chat, the one that I did on you guys, because I think you might enjoy my commentary about the video. I was so confused as to why it's just like the slow-mo of burgers being thrown with excess ketchup. Like, I felt like that's what these students sat down and went, I want to do slow-mo, okay? And then someone was like, we don't have a budget. Well, let's just get McDonald's burgers.
And throw them.
And that was it. Then they were like, fuck it. And we'll just ring this band. Everyone else in our class is done. And this is not to be too cheeky and rude towards them. They literally threw a video together. They threw it together. Visually and conceptually.
Like, it took less than a whole day. And we had such a fun time doing it. It was just being told that we're like sitting in the back of a pickup truck that's moving with a camera and like trying our hardest to like pelt this guy in the face with burgers. What I didn't know about the video is that he retaliates at the end and hits her with burgers. And I don't agree with hitting any women with cheeseburgers or anything else for that matter. And I thought that it was a tad distasteful and very tasty. But I want to go on record to say that Chase the Bear does not agree with throwing burgers at women or throwing anything at women for that matter.
They do not condone this message. Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
But
we had a fun time.
Yeah. How many burgers do you think you threw? How many burgers did they have?
Oh, probably 10 to 15.
And then was there someone who was walking around and picking them up after your several missed attempts and then putting it back together and saying, come on, let's try, and before the whole burger disintegrates, just hit the fucker?
I feel like that did happen. I think we reused the burgers. The poor guy, the actor, he was just like, he was doing a great job. We loved that guy.
Can you just imagine him going back to a friend or a parent and being like, I got my first acting job for a student gig. I can't wait to put this on my show reel. And coming home that night, I don't want to talk about it. The guys, honey, what happened to you? You've been in a fight? I don't want to talk about it. It's just ketchup, Mum. Chill out, Mum. Anyway, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, just covered in ketchup.
But I can see you guys. I especially could see Troy just being like, oh, fuck, I'm down. Let's throw burgers. Like, I could just see you all being so nonchalant about it. and enjoying it.
Definitely. Exactly. It's our first ever music video. We had zero expectations and had a great time.
Okay. I promise you, we're going to come back to your first song with 5 more minutes. But with the underwater video, because I remember when I was I went to a performing arts school when I was 16 to 18, and I ended up getting a job there as a media teaching assistant until I was 21. Then a year after that, I moved to Canada, and I didn't go to university or anything like that because I thought, well, going to this school and then having to teach people to make sure they still get good grades because there's a lot of pressure on it. It was a private school. I felt like that was better than spending £100,000 going to university and coming out holding your dick like, I don't know how I'm going to pay this back now. Got to find a job.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to side note and say I'm not sure why I just said holding the D. I don't think I've ever said that in my life, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, you tried it. Didn't like it.
I tried it out, but I don't like it. Just to be clear,
sometimes you gotta try it out
because Jodie and Harley are watching in the kitchen, and Harley, that's not an expression. I don't like that expression. Anyway, so
don't use that expression.
Yeah,
no one likes the guy who says holding their D.
Yeah, I mean, don't say it again. You don't need to keep saying it, but we can.
Yeah.
He just shouted. Did you hear him shout? Okay, that's so funny. Okay.
That's funny.
I'll never say holding my dick in public to anyone. Okay. Oh my God. Crying with laughter now.
How old is Harley?
Harley's 8, but Harley, he knows. He said okay again because it's a 30-second delay. That's great. Thanks for confirming for the second time. You heard him that time? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now I'm saying okay. How many okays? It's the first rim shot of the stream today. So what was I saying now?
You got
Remind
more
me.
okays than Little John.
Okay.
We were talking about underwater.
Yes, years ago, thank you. When I was that media teaching assistant, one of the student projects, because your first video in Heartache student project, they wanted to do a video underwater, and so we built a frame on like a green screen, but we didn't have green screen. We had a black screen, but we used lighting to make it seem like there were people floating. Anyway, but the actual underwater bits, we got a fish tank, filled it with water, put a camera underneath, and put their face in it, and then they had to go like down and be like, I'm singing my song. Was that what Troy had to do, or was there a bit of graphics effects involved?
Shit, John, you're freezing on me.
You're
freezing on me, mate.
Oh no, you've frozen on me with the most awesome smile. Let me match it.
Oh, you're back.
Someone screenshot this quick.
No, you're freezing.
Okay. All right. Hopefully someone got a screenshot. If not, I'll do it in post.
I'm so sorry, John. I'm starting to hear what is that what Troy had to do?
Jody, share that in the Discord, will you? You can hear me again,
I'm
Connor?
not skipping out on you.
No,
you might just be doing it for me.
Yeah. All right, let's reset.
You know what, John? I just need to plug in my phone, I think.
Okay, you get that done.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Damn, the Wi-Fi gods have screwed us again. Oh.
That looks like a John Lennon cover right now. Screenshot that. Imagine all the people living in Connor's head. Whoa, whoa. Look at that. Phones plugged in. We'll wait for... Oh, we've lost him. He'll be back. Oh, my God. 2 of me. Now you get to see what he sees. Look at how bright this is. Now you get to see... Here's the Logitech camera is this one. And the Canon camera is this one. Which one do you think looks more professional? Here he comes.
Hey,
oh
there you are. Good to see ya.
That is delightfully...
Can you see my nose poops?
No. I can see just the black hole that is your nose. Unless I misheard you.
Black hole nose. Anyways, to answer your question, sorry about that.
You didn't hear the fucking question.
No,
though.
actually, what happened? you were asking about the scenes where Troy was singing underwater.
Oh, weird. You heard that. Okay, pardon me. Answer it.
So, yeah, I heard it within gaps. And while I was talking,
right,
it was like the delay kept talking to me. So I felt rude for cutting off the delay. It was really weird. But no, what happened is that, and Rock is Dead Records has their own social media page and YouTube, and they posted a video of Troy actually was in a fish tank or like a terrarium kind of. And Dave filmed underneath that terrarium pointing straight up. So he was just kind of hovering over it and would have to go like, but the first time he did it, he didn't know that you can't actually sing underwater because you need to breathe. And so he like nearly drowned himself trying to do the first take. He just inhaled like so much water into his lungs.
Troy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a Troy move.
I know.
Oh my God.
I love him.
That's
And he cut off all his hair after that. He was like, this is just too much.
Because you just have to basically just put your face in it and blow out to like produce bubbles, and then you could just cut it to do whatever. Like people are just going to think you're singing. Yeah.
You don't have to actually sing the song. I think he did, but
it looked like he did. But that's the thing, though. To be fair, I love people that actually sing for music videos because you can tell. You can tell when someone's miming because their mouth moves like they're a fucking Sesame Street character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
definitely.
I think that somebody's seen us. Yeah, it's just like so. It's just so over exaggerated. Whereas he like throwing his head in the water. It was really cool. It was really cool. I'm glad that he's still here. Man, the voice of a generation drowns in a fish tank shooting a music video is not a good look. Sorry.
Some people say there's no such thing as bad press.
No.
That's bad press.
Why haven't I seen
That's
that?
not even like get your band famous press. That's just like bad. Yeah.
I wonder if I have like, hang on a second here. Yes, I do. Sad news from Vancouver is Chase the Bear, an upcoming rock band recently signed to Rock is Dead Records. Lead singer was lost in a terrarium bowl after trying to film a music video underwater without realizing that breathing comes first. Yes, that'll do.
You're a true DJ, man.
You inspire me. You inspire me. Yeah, Steve in the chat is like, they could have been famous, but they drowned in a fish tank in a recording studio. Wow. Standing up, too. I feel like this is, I don't want to talk about it any further because I don't want it to be, you know, we go for a walk by Durant's Lake one day and then Troy falls in and then, you know, I can't swim, I can't save him. So let's just leave it. Let's leave it.
Yeah. We'll knock on wood, hopefully.
Yeah. Let's talk about you. Let's play a little sample of 5 more minutes. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right.
Please do.
Play it from the start. Let me check what the audio volume is coming through to you. I could probably put it up a little bit more.
I can hear it.
All right, I'll max it out a bit. Pikachu! Wake up! All right. So you singing this. See, I knew you were going to mime. That's why I cut you. We'll go back. I'll stop being a dick.
All I really want is just 5 more minutes in bed.
You're just as bad as Shaw
All I
Wi-Fi.
really need is just 5 more minutes in bed. I'd rather be dead. Try and lift my heavy head. I just want 5 more minutes in bed. Oh, no. All I really need is a one night of sweet dreams.
All right. So then Troy comes in second part of the verse. And because of the delay, you're still miming, which is great. So, yeah, speak to me about this. I mean, let's go straight back to the start. Where did this when you were putting the band together, did you say, I want to sing and drum? Like, how did you originally decide that this was going to be such a multi-threat band? Because everyone in this group, while I know Jordan probably say, I only want to do guitar, I don't know anything else. but you're all multi-skilled in instrumentation, human beings of instrumentation. So how did you first say to the guys, I can sing, you know, I'm not just here to smack toms?
Yeah, I mean, when Chase the Bear was coming together, I was still singing in a band. That was not going well. We were called Trash Can Panda, and it was just like really not happening. Braden was playing guitar for Trash Can Panda, and there was such big problems with other members in the band. One member in particular, where he literally not only quit the band, he fucking moved to Victoria from Vancouver just to get away from this guy. And he was like, you know, narcissist, gaslighter in a band. It'd be like, hey, you're playing that part wrong. It's like, no, I'm not. It was like really, and then he'd get mad at you for like saying that. It was really scary. So after he left, I tried to keep the band going, and then it didn't work. So yeah, Braden called me up because he left my band for Troy. He left me for Troy. And I was a little salty about it for a little bit, but and then yeah, I remember him being like, why don't you guys play in a band together? And I was thinking like, this is never gonna work. We're two singers, we're gonna butt heads all the time, we have too many ideas. And then I did it anyways, and just because I think they wanted a drummer. And so when I first started, it wasn't like, oh hey, this is also going to be my band, because the band was already formed before I started playing with them.
Chase the Bear?
Yeah.
As Chase the Bear?
Yeah.
Who was Chase drumming? Oh, there just wasn't a drummer.
There was a drummer named C.
Oh.
There was a drummer named Fernie, and Molly's probably going to send me a message soon to tell me exactly who the other who all the drummers were. But
did you mean to skip the D from our chat 10 minutes ago? Because that's very clever if you did. You went C to E.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, back to you. I'll shut up. Answer the question and I'll shut up. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they had a couple drummers anyways, and then yeah, they were just playing in Victoria, and their drummer quit or something, or maybe I started playing with them and then they fired the drummer. I don't remember what happened anyways. Yeah, and then I just started playing. Only drummers were Fernie, who never got a show, and C, who got 3. Yes.
Did she message you? Is Molly watching?
Yeah.
Molly, you're awesome. My God. Well, let's just take a moment for Molly. Some appreciation for Molly. I have some appreciation music for Molly, and it sounds like this. We appreciate your statistical ability, Molly, and your passion. Thank you. Thank you, Molly.
That was incredible.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you.
We need just 5 seconds of silence to respect after the...
That was...
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Molly. Yeah. Cool. So, but to hone in on, okay, you drum, and then what Troy's like, but I know you can sing. Let's do songs.
Yeah, I mean, like when the band first started in Victoria, I had a few songs that I brought into the band, but a lot of them were rejected because they weren't good enough. Started to kind of feel like a George Harrison, you know, like just kind of, you know, I was disappointed. I was writing songs. I felt like I had some good quality songs, and we did play a couple of them, but I think the real, like, whenever it was the most fun was whenever like a guitarist would start playing a riff and then somebody else would start playing along, and then Troy would start singing to it. That is like the natural procession of writing Chase the Bear song, especially at the beginning. And then, yeah. So like whenever Troy would bring in a song that he wrote front to back, or I would bring in a song front to back, it just didn't feel like it hit as well as when all of us worked on something and we like all really enjoyed it. So yeah, for a while it was like hard for me to get songs in there, you know, and hard for me to sing because Troy is a vocalist. He's a vocalist. So if I'm singing, Troy's just not doing anything, you know? So like there's also that where we need to share, you know, we need to share our parts and everything. Like I can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna sing this whole song now, and now you just play tambourine, like, because he is possibly the most talented singer I've ever met in my life, and you know, he should be singing on stuff. So originally when I brought 5 More Minutes to the band, I was singing the whole thing, and then when I brought it, I was like, oh, Troy, you should do like the second verse, because I love July Talk, who does that, you know, and they're very good at going between two singers. And yeah, the more that we've been a band, the more that we've done that, which is really nice, where like we'll jam an instrumental that the band wrote, and then, you know, Troy will make up something vocally, and then sometimes he'll look at me and be like, try something, and or I'll be like, ooh, I got something, you know, and so I'll sing a little bit of something, and then a lot of times we'll decide like, oh, maybe Connor will sing this part, Troy will sing this part, and you know, so the new stuff has been really nice to just like experiment more with that, and I'm being able to have a bit more of a voice as a singer, because a lot of times I feel more like a singer than a drummer, and you know, so anyways, it was hard at first to feel like the Harrison or the Ringo Starr, and so having this first song is like my debut song to sing, and one that I wrote, is like very validating, I guess, as like a songwriter, for the band to be like, we accept you as a, you know, as a singer.
Well, and you're right to think that, because it's the second single of this new era, really, of the start of Chase the Bear, with all that maturity and growth aside the last 5 years. This is now the true beginning, with the Rock is Dead connection and everything that those connections are going to bring, built around the hard work that you've all put in. So for them to release that, I was really pleased to see that as the second single, because you are... The band needs to showcase every ounce of talent that you've got, because in this world, how fickle it is, when you've got that, you need to find a way to showcase it. As long as it doesn't take away, as you were speaking to the last few minutes, from the overall message or lead of the band. If you want to have okay, well, Troy, you are our leader, and we don't want you just standing there with a tambourine in your hand, a tea in your hand, doing nothing for 5-6 minutes. But even then, he's going to play that tambourine like it's the last tambourine he's going to shake in his life, even if he's doing that. Like, he's so hype and relentless on that stage. And that speaks to, as well, your last 5-6 minutes, the confidence that you showed when I first saw you in a gig in an actual inside venue, not so much outside or other little festivals and whatnot, in doing that drum solo and going for a walk around the venue when you weren't even headlining it. And that speaks to, just to me, I was like, this guy's more than a drummer, because, and then you ended up singing 5 More Minutes, I believe, a few songs later. Anyway.
Sorry, man, you froze.
Oh no, I've frozen again. You've frozen again. Wait, someone screenshot
Very
this.
Unfortunate.
Can you hear me? Whenever we freeze,
Yes.
I do the same pose you do, and then someone screenshots it. So we're going to have some adorable pictures I'll send you later on.
Awesome. You're back in. Yes.
But that's I'm not sure what you missed me saying or not, but when I saw you, it was clear that you were born to be more than just a drummer. You adored being able to move around and perform at the same time. Then you sang 5 more minutes later on, and it was like, okay, confirmed, the guy can do everything. So I think it's great that they've gone the second single with you being the first vocal that's heard there, because also there is a difference in personality between every single one of us as human beings. So there is a textural difference on the record in hearing you and then Troy and then both of you. They might have heard you before behind Troy, but hearing you before Troy and then adjoined with Troy, it adds a whole new energy and texture to the Chase the Bear sound. So now that's interesting. That was what I was going to ask you when you were saying that is, have there been songs that you've performed that I've seen you do for years that now maybe have been slightly rejuggled around in the studio then, taking into account the respect they've got for your voice? Are there things that have been changed and you've got more of a vocal or more shared vocals with Troy on songs that we haven't heard yet?
On the album, no.
Okay.
You know what? I mean, this band has been through a lot of ups and downs, and like, I don't want to pretend that we haven't, because I feel like we're stronger now because of it, and we're good at communicating. And, you know, I'm not afraid to say that at the beginning, when we did this album, Troy sings all of the harmonies, and I was quite upset about it.
Right.
You know, and you know, like, I was not the singer that I am now. Not that I'm a virtuoso singer or anything like that, but with Danny's vision for the album, he has said that he wanted the harmonies to be the same voice as the leads. And Molly just messaged me saying, I did get harmonies on Here We Go Again. That's true. I do like a little, that is very true. And
So good.
yeah. So yes, there are a couple moments where I got in there. And it bummed me out for a bit, but then I think about bands like Nirvana, think about bands like Audio Slave, where the lead harmony, like the lead singer doing the harmony, really does strengthen that sound. And you know, I do really love it. But for the next stuff, I really want to sing harmonies, because it made me practice the shit out of my vocals and start taking vocals seriously as an instrument. Because I started looking up YouTube tutorials on singing, about the biology of the voice, about technique, and I take vocal lessons now, and it just, like, you know, it did push me to be more of a singer.
Well, ultimately that's a great thing. I mean, it's all about serving what you're making, that piece of art, in that moment. And it's difficult when it reminds me of when I was drumming in Stinging Bell, and we went up for a 3-day recording session. Okay, we're going to try and get these 3 songs done, a song a day. And one of the songs that was exposed that it just didn't work. Like, what I was doing in choruses and in the solo just didn't work. It felt like a whole different song, like you were alluding to and you were sharing, not alluding to, but mentioning 40 minutes ago in reworking and getting rid of that bridge. And I felt so small and so useless. Like, I've had 6 months to get ready for this, practicing on the electric kit to the stems with the click, practicing on the kit in the jam space on the real kit. And then now when we put it under a microscope, this doesn't work. And I absolutely lost my shit for a hot 5-10 minutes there, throwing things around, and was really embarrassed about it. But ultimately it drove me to get better. Like, and that's what excites me now in going back to you. Because I just like to share, as you know, the context behind where my mind is going, and interlocking with people that are sharing what you've just shared. Is that what I love about that is that when this next record appears in a year to however many years it takes to get done after this first cycle continues, is it's going to add that extra maturity to what you've produced, because everyone will come to the table with a different refined focus on a different part of their craft. And that's only going to improve the entirety of Chase the Bear. So that's really exciting. You could have spat your dummy out and said, fuck you guys, you don't deserve me, I'm gone. And then no one would have grown or benefited from it, but you didn't.
No, I mean, I feel like there was a little bit there during COVID. nah, but it's all good.
Well, then when you're locked up and you're in your own mind and you can't connect and get answers immediately when you think about something, it's, you know, do the band still all live in the same house, or has that changed since the YouTube video from 2017 or 2018, whenever it was?
It's changed
Yeah.
for sure. The brothers, Leo and Troy, they live in the same house. Jordan lives in the basement, and Braden lives in the apartment next door.
Perfect.
And then I live here with my wonderful partner, and Kevin lives in East Van with his wonderful partner as well. We're the members that need a little bit more space.
Fair enough. Let me play a little bit more of the song then. Let me skip a bit further in here. And then a little bit further still. Perfect.
So funny. Whenever I hear "one night," it just brings me back to when we were comping vocals, and I was sitting in Danny's studio, and he was playing every time I sang "one night, one night, one night." It was just like, it's like, oh, I like this one, you know, like. So every time I hear that one vocal, it's like when you, I don't know, it's like when you hear a certain dialogue from an old movie that you've watched since you were a kid, and then it just like rings in your head, so familiar.
Yeah. Did you note down if it was one night take number 37, 27, 48? What was it?
I should have. I really should have.
Tell-
No, we only did like 10 takes of that, probably.
No, nothing too crazy.
Danny's interesting to work with as a singer, though, because he, I noticed something he said was really wise. He said, don't sing the consonants, only sing the vowels. So don't sing one night, sing one night. You know, like don't sing don't sing "Oh please baby please," sing "Oh please baby please." And he was like, cut those consonants to be as short as possible and sing out the vowels as long as possible. And we did that for the whole album.
Did Rick Rubin say that to System of a Down 28 years ago? And then they wrote, oh, sorry. That's where my mind went.
Yeah.
That's really
All
cool,
vowels.
though. That's really cool. I've not heard of that before. I guess it makes sense.
It's a totally subconscious thing that we do, because why wouldn't we, right? It's just a natural thing, but then it's more melodic, I guess. When so when you listen to the songs, you'll hear that you'll hear that exactly. The consonants are shortened, and then the vowels are as long as we could possibly make them.
What was it like to actually put that into action when you're doing it, though? Because it's kind of stumped my brain for a second, because now I'm like overthinking, how would I do that? How would you do that? Because it's like in terms of speaking about radio, when I first got into radio nearly 15 years ago, John, my old boss man, said, I don't want you to be a DJ. I don't want you to be, it's 10:13, 13 degrees, and here's Chase the Bear. Like, I want you to speak normally. And I was like, well, I don't do that anyway. But it really confused me for a few months where I found myself doing. The thing is with me is if you say don't do that, I do that probably up to 10 times until I realize, and I know every time I'm like, oh, no, I'm not meant to do this, but I'm doing it again. And that's how I seem to learn, by that whip round misdirection. And so how did you find yourself then? I don't know. It's just, look, it's put my brain in a rut. What did it do to you when he said that? Did you blow your mind, or you go, fuck, I don't know, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, it was really, really difficult. But the way that we recorded vocals is that we didn't record the song front to back. We would just record, like half of the verse. And then, it'd be like, okay, how did that half of the verse feel? And then we would record that half of the verse again until it felt perfect. And then, we'd move on to the next part. But what ended up happening is that I would, in certain words that it was particularly bad, I would write down the word. And then, if it was night, I would write it with one N and like a million I's. And then, and like underline the I's and be like, this is the word that you're doing it on, So then when it comes up, and it's funny because when I was conscious of it, I was still doing it. When I was like, okay, this time, all vowels. And Danny was like, listen. And, I could hear myself go like, one night. Like, but it's down to like those milliseconds. He's just so precise in the detail. And I love that. I was like, I don't know, like, who cares? But he's like, I care. We're going to do it right this time.
Yeah. I have to try it. It was like, one night. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. It doesn't bend up. One night. Is that what you do? No.
Yeah,
too much on the T.
Like, bend it down. One night. Actually, it does bend up, but it's a short bend.
One night.
Yeah.
Bit too much pronunciation on the T there. Tonight, going to have myself a real good time. I feel alive, live. Right, it's making sense now. This is all making sense now.
Yeah. One of my pet peeves is when singers pronounce words too much. Like, I think it's Death Cab for Cuties singer.
Ben Gibbard?
I think so, yeah. I'm sure they write great music, but what's it? My soul meets body. He's like, we will. What's that song? Such great heights come down now. Just like, I cannot stand that vocal pronunciation.
But yeah, you went Death Cab to Postal Service. Boom, boom. Both Ben Gibbard. Both get. Oh, I still love the name of that band in the sense that they were sending tapes across the country from east to west to put it together. And I can't wait until but it works with that. But imagine if a band said, we're called The Internet. I don't think it would. Oh, sorry. I don't think it would work the same.
Already done.
Is it? Is there a band called The Internet?
The band that, they're from LA. They're like a hip hop band that Anderson .Paak used to play with.
Oh, damn.
Back before he was the Anderson .Paak. And I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, if it's Anderson .Paak, then it is cool. So,
yeah, they're a really good band.
Okay, we're going to pretend. Yeah, let's skip back. I haven't heard of any bands called The World Wide Webbers. No, anyway.
Actually, that's my my solo project was called The World Wide Webbers, so this is kind of awkward.
Oh, what was the first single called? Why didn't you send it to me?
Well, we haven't played to anyone ever, and
it's just
not.
Oh, just as top secret as To Chase the Bear, right? Is every song WWW something?
Actually, every song is WWW. So like World Wide Web is the first single, and then World Wrestling Werewolves is like the second single.
Oh, right.
So like, every song has to have that alliteration in it.
Right.
We're terrible.
Oh, it is terrible. There's not like you don't do like a funky soul song that's called Wet, Wet, Wet or something.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Side note, Wet, Wet, Wet were a boy band when I grew up in the 90s in England.
Really?
Yeah, Wet,
Oh my
Wet,
God.
Wet. Yeah, shameless.
It sounds like a Cardi B song. Yeah. Give me that wet, 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 wet. Like, it's catchy.
You know I like it wet, 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 wet. Yeah, I guess it is. All right.
Mhm.
Harley's in the bath watching this right now, so it's even more appropriate that.
Yeah.
there we go.
Sorry. I
No,
did
there's
not
nothing to be
edit
sorry
when
about. He'll think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I'm pretty sure Jody's typing in the chat right now. Ha 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 ha. Right? And you know when someone's finding something really funny because they have two H's in the middle of it. Right? Now, how would you sing? How would Mr. Craig have you perform the lyric ha 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 in the studio? Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's speak more about this video. You've put a guy in a mattress and you beat him up for 5 minutes, 5 more minutes. Why? What's the... Huh? Was it the same student that got burgers thrown in his face? Huh?
Thank God it is not.
Okay.
Yeah, how does that happen? Well, basically in the video, we're just out to get mattresses, man. We hate them. We want to kill them because, well, if I told you, it would ruin the twist at the end of the
Okay,
video. So,
don't tell me. Let's segue completely out of this. I'm done with 5 more minutes. I want to answer. I want you to answer CJ's comment in the chat. He asked, "Have you ever been chased by a bear?" He's been chased by bears. Has your band Chase the Bear been chased by bears? Singularly, collectively, everly?
Fortunately not. Jordan did once. He works in the film industry, and his job was to scare away bears for one film. And he saw one. He used the gun that makes the sound, and
An
he
air horn?
successfully chased. Air horn, thank you. He is the exactly, and it sounded like a rap video. Beep, beep, beep. And then so he's the only member. Chase that bear, boy.
I'll let you finish the
he's the only one
sentence.
who has chased the bear.
All right. CJ, were you chased by a bear on Salt Spring Island? Did it stumble upon
Yeah,
your
that sounds
picnic?
horrific.
Yeah, that's. I actually, in my 14 years here coming up, have never experienced a cougar or a bear in the wild, and it scares. The thought of it does scare the living shit out of me. Like I grew up with foxes and badgers. Don't mess with the badgers, but they aren't going to mess with you. They're blind. I don't walk around at 3 a.m. I'm not going to see them. But
Yeah.
have you? Oh, you were in. CJ was in Ucluelet. But where have you come across cougars at all yet? I don't know. I just don't know. The thing is with me is that, like I was saying 15, 20 minutes ago, I need the repetition to learn. I can read online, have a little air horn that sounds like you're in a rap video, and use that in front of a bear. I can read online, don't lose eye contact with the cougar, but I don't know if I've read it as make sure you don't make eye contact with the cougar. I
haven't. Molly just sent me a message saying she's seen a cougar back at a school trip in 2015. That's wild. What I hear is that most of the time you don't see cougars, but they see you.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying because their whole thing is to like silently stalk their prey. So if you do see one, I guess that's a good thing. It must mean that they're not after you. They're not hiding from you,
Right.
which is good. I've seen, have you ever driven through Banff or Jasper?
Yes. Beautiful.
And you didn't see any bears?
Oh, well, I mean, like I've seen bears before.
Okay.
But I've not. Sorry to explain myself. Not from the position of walking in the woods and being like, well, I sure hope we don't die today out on this retreat,
Yeah.
camping by ourselves with no one for 50 miles. Like I've been driving. I've driven through. Yeah, it's great when you drive and you see the babies. You're in a car. You know that the mum is going to come out and you're not going to die. Like but not walking in the woods and bam, there's a bear. Like the raptor, clever girl in Jurassic Park. None of that.
Yeah, definitely. No, never. Me neither. I saw a very large moose once, and I thought that
Oh,
it was a
wow.
bear when I first encountered it, and that's as close as I got.
How did you think that a moose was a bear?
Well, I saw it from behind, and so it was just this big brown mass of hair. You'd be surprised.
No, I'm
And
not.
before I went out with my friend, we were kids, and we went out to play. Or I think we were just riding bikes, like on this walking trail that goes through local woods in Fort St. John. And yeah, our parents were like, "Be careful! I heard there's bears out there." And yeah, so obviously the first big animal that we saw, we're like, "It's a bear!" But
Makes sense. Well, the last thing I'll share is that my partner Jodie, when she was growing up, she was walking through a cornfield in good old Lumbee or Lambie or Lavington in the Okanagan, and realized that there was a bear in the cornfield. And then, as she writes in the chat, I mean, she's told me before, but sprinted back to the car. That's the kind of situation I don't want to be involved in. I just, I don't know. That's the thing with bears. They say if the bear sees you, don't run. Then they're just like, me run at you now. Anyway, I'm not David Attenborough. You're not David Attenborough, and but you are in Chase the Bear. So thanks for entertaining the bear questions there. I wish I had a roar on here, but I don't have anything.
nice. That was okay.
That's probably not going to cut it either, is it?
That is really unsettling.
Yes.
Just the Windows error
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah.
Or is that just your computer?
No, that's legit on the soundboard here. That's on the soundboard, along with.
Amazing.
Oh, CJ, have you used whips on a bear? Okay. Not sure I have that. Machete. Machete on a bear.
Machete.
Scream. What is this? Yeah, that's probably accurate. That would be me.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's just not go through the 150 sound effects I have on here right now.
I would love to. Another time.
Yes.
Another time.
We've been talking for, I think, an hour and 20 minutes at this point. Your partner's parents are over from France. How long are they here for?
They leave on Thursday.
Okay, today is Wednesday.
Jeudi.
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
They leave
Yes.
this Thursday.
Yeah.
All right.
In a couple of days.
Okay, well, I think let's call this the last couple of minutes of our conversation until we reconnect in the future when the whole album is out and maybe get a few other guys involved and et cetera, et cetera. And just saying it publicly again, please feel free, if you trust me, to send me the album so I can hear it. I get the impression Molly has heard it, and I am envious of the wonderful Molly. While I am not the note taker Molly is, I have as big a heart as Molly and would love to hear it, and you can trust me. And also... what do you want to close with? Like, what are you, in the sense of what can you share or are you willing to share? But what are you most proud? Two things. What are you most proud of? And you've mentioned a lot of proud growth in this conversation, but what are you most proud of when it comes to Chase the Bear? And what are you most excited about with the future of this connection with Rock is Dead and getting this record out to the world after all these years of fine tuning it on the road and in the studio with Mr. Craig?
Well, the album's out in January. I should tell you that much. What am I most proud of? Probably like just the fact that we got signed to a label that's real. That's pretty crazy, you know, like they're actually doing things for us and they're getting us people that like our music, which is pretty crazy. And then also, for some stupid reason, like social media followers that we've gotten recently, just straight up from me like posting and making dumb content all the time. I am pretty proud of like people finding our music through all of that. And then yeah, in the future, I mean, like the goal right now is to find a booking agent that is the ideal situation, because when a band like us finds a booking agent, they would usually put us onto a bill with a larger band that's on the roster. So that's how a lot of bands our size or even a little bigger bands end up, you know, getting on those tours where they're opening for bigger bands, and you know, that's where a lot of people will see us. So that's kind of the dream right now. And then you know, we want to tour the States, we want to tour Europe, and we want to tour Canada, obviously, but just getting out there and touring more. That's the upcoming plan.
Okay, I'm going to throw some bands at you. I can absolutely Instagram this after the conversation, but there is a band from the UK called the Lucas State.
Cool.
And have you heard of them before?
No.
They're led by a man called Conrad Ellis, and they are, for me, they would be a brilliant band to team up with and attack that European market. They are building at a similar rate to you, maybe a little bit ahead in terms of that they've released a record and released a bunch of videos with that, and but it's a very independent situation. They've gone the same channel that you've gone and had that connection with a label that's helped them and not hold them, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Conrad's voice, I'd love to see Conrad and Troy and you sing something, because Conrad is a ferocious lead singer, and there's not many people that are in that mold of a Troy or a Conrad for me. And I think that the Lucas State are a band that it would be worth knocking on their door and making friends with.
Very cool. Okay.
Another band I think to make friends with is Spiral Drive from Germany. And that's more of a psychedelic rock band, but Raphael's become a really dear friend of mine the last 2 years since we spoke. Like literally sending WhatsApp messages all the flipping time. I think he's such a sweetheart and such a crazy talent. His band are just insanely good. But if we're staying in Germany for a band that fits more of that rock vibe, then there's a group called Planes. And This is a very multinational band. There's members from Israel, Germany, UK, all over, that have all found home in Hamburg and Berlin. And those two bands, I think those three bands are in and around the same level right now, where you can all help each other. If they came here, you could help them. If you went there, they could help you, and it would be a smart setup. But also, crucially, would work really well together, I think, on stage. Ooh. And would, yeah, it just would work very well. My brain wanted to say that twice because it believes in it, and I believe in it too. Thank you, brain. But otherwise,
well, thank you, John.
Yeah, I'll link you some things.
Check those guys out for sure.
But I really appreciate your time, man. I knew, like I said to Jody, and like I said to you at the start of this conversation, I don't need to plan a conversation with Connor. It's just going to roll. And that's my favorite kind of conversation, is not having that forced energy to it. It's just, we can duck and dive and come back to stuff from half an hour ago if we need to. And there's no pressure on anything. So I appreciate you sharing what you've shared. And I know that there's still 50 questions that I could have asked that we'll save for when we get a Troy or a Leo or a Braden, or I don't know if Braden gets out of bed ever, but we can get those things. Wait, it wasn't Braden in the video. It was Leo that was asleep under the mat, under the covers, while still wearing clothes, which I chastised in the deep dive video.
No, that was Braden.
That was Braden?
Oh, wait. No, Braden was naked. He was definitely naked. Yeah.
He was naked? Because one of them was like, I haven't got any clothes on. Then I clearly saw clothes under the...
Oh, yeah, that was definitely Braden.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
yeah. I'll link you the Song of the Week deep dive video that I did once this chat is done. But no, just thank you so much,
Please
man.
do.
I really appreciate your time. It's been a thrill.
Dude, no, don't thank me. I thank you. Yeah, it's always a pleasure. You're so real. You're just such a nice, real guy to talk to. And, you know, I just feel like there's a lot of people dating somebody who is from Europe has kind of like made me realize that a lot of people in Canada seem to put on this very happy, shiny face all the time that I've started to not like. And, you know, I really appreciate the times when you can tell it like it is. And sometimes you've got like your, not brutal, but like you've got a straight up take on something that isn't just like, this is great. And also this is great. And this is good. And this is great. You know, like, I really appreciate that. And it's nice to just talk, you know. Should do this again sometime.
We will. And I wasn't expecting you to say those kind words. Thank you. And I think to click into your point there about your partner, yes, like in Europe, it's not that it's black and white necessarily. It's just that you will know where you stand for the most part. Now, I haven't been that well traveled in Europe, but from friends of mine, I've got very dear family friends that are French as well. And you know, they will let you know very quickly, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like that, I like that. Whatever it might be, the communication is paramount. And that's why when I first started out in radio in this country, a lot of people's noses were put out of joint because they felt that just the energy of which I spoke seemed very dominant or attacking, but it wasn't. But it was never from that angle. I think it was just the accent was confusing, and then as people got to understand that I worked with, okay, this is just how he is. It's just passion. It's just passion. But at the same time, what I would like to say to you is that you're at the start now of the radio tour part of your world. Like you've already done that. I know that you've already got into stations before, you've performed and whatnot. But what I've learned since I've left the corporate mainstream, and as I mentioned, I keep saying alluded because I love the word alluded, but it does not fit in this moment. As I said an hour ago, not everyone is as honest as you think they are. And so you've just got to do what you've always done, is trust your gut with when you meet these people, if you feel they actually care or not, or they're being true or not. And don't feel that you can't question them if you're confused, because a lot of people in radio and in performing arts will shine. I love it. But if you say, are you going to play it? But I like it, but are you going to play it? It's okay to ask. It's okay to ask, because at the end of the day, what I've learned in being in a position now where I get sent all these songs and I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing that I'm getting sent, 400 emails a week from around the world of artists and music reps and labels that have gradually, moved over and realized what I'm doing isn't about burning the radio system down. It's about just building a very different, unique musicologist modern rock sector in the internet world of radio that isn't a threat to anyone. It's just a passion project. But you need to be direct, because otherwise then you've got all these people, all these bands that are like, well, I don't trust this guy. Fuck this guy. And even if people don't appreciate me saying it doesn't quite do it for me, it's not going to work for what was at radio right now, it's better than wasting time of energy and false narrative that might get built in their camp of not understanding why nothing's happening or why nothing's been said. We just waste so much time. And I know you know what I'm speaking about. We waste so much time when we don't communicate effectively, and we allow the false story to be created that then wastes even more time and causes more disconnect. So I appreciate you saying that, but to finish my point, going to all of those stations, being Chase the Bear, being Connor Troy and Co., and don't take any shit. Just be you. But I know that when people hear these songs, and they're really, for me, it's a slam dunk. Like Underwater should be in rotation on BC rock stations right now. There shouldn't be a question about it. Yes, it'll be difficult to get into Alberta and Ontario, because they will have their systems where they've got their one or two local bands that they'll support as well. But that will come as you get there and show them. Because the biggest thing is, in this day and age of music, is we can all make it, but can we fake it? Or can we actually back it up on the stage? And what Chase the Bear do is they back it up in every column, every box that needs to be ticked. Your band is yes, 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 yes. And that will eventually, as you move across this country and meet people at the Edge or Indie 88 or whatever, will eventually, if they see you, they'll realize, no, these guys are the real fucking deal.
Thank you so much, John.
Anyway.
That is truly inspiring. I've got no words. You're very kind.
I just honestly, I cannot get enough of your band. Like it's just I get so excited by great art and great music, and especially when it's someone, as pure and honest as you are. And I know that that is reflected in the rest of the band. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist as a band. So it just gets me going, man. It really gets me going. Great things that galvanize me, get me going. And I will not let you go unless we cut it right now. I need to go and do story time.
Something.
Okay.
I have to tell you that we're planning to come to Victoria soon. I wanna play shows in the end of January. That's kind of when we're thinking of coming next. We're gonna do a little island tour. I think that's what we're planning, and then we want to do another one in March, April-ish. We're planning with Sleep Shake to do some shows together.
Oh yes.
So, I'm very excited about that. I forgot to mention that.
Well, I'm so glad that you did, because I know that Sleep Shake had come over and done a few with you, the Railway and Co in Vancouver, but like that's another band, Raya, and they have, my God, that band has grown up so much during the pandemic alone, just from all the time they've put in and research and just playing and experimenting. They are, that's a great choice. And
they're the real deal.
Yeah, Nate, oh my God, and Sasha on drums. Oh my God, dude, that he is so good. Boom.
That makes me sad. I watched that and I was just like, this guy's too pro. He's just too fucking pro. He is so pro. I don't know what it is, because he plays a beat and I'm like, I know that beat. Can I play like he can? Nope. Like, it is just the confidence, the practice. I don't know. He's just such a good drummer. Yeah, when we saw their set, it was just like, it was like, no, it was like.
I appreciate the extra camera work.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
okay, I have to eat something.
Exactly. We need to eat. I need to do Harley bedtime. I got to let you go. It's the classic case where I say goodbye and we talk for 10, 20 more minutes, and then I'm like, Jesus Christ, the hind legs off the donkey have been removed and thrown down the street. No one knows where they are. They've been talked off. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great dinner. Spread love to all those in the home with you. And say hello to the band members, and I'll link you this video, which will go unlisted for the first few weeks and just to patrons, but you guys can obviously watch it and share it around if you want. And then I'll link you the Song of the Week video as well, ASAP.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. You have a great night.
You too, Connor. I'll see you in a bit, mate.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Wonderful. There we have it. He's just such a sweetheart. I mean, you know that. You've all been here for the last nearly 2 hours. So thank you. I got to run upstairs, and I hear the bath draining, so I think Harley's done his bath. Then he'll get dry and get sorted in pajamas, and then we'll do bedtime stories in about 15 minutes, so I can record the intro and extra for this, get it uploading to YouTube. Boom, laughing. But let's have a look at who was here. OX2, Alice Hydra, Alien Gathering, Commander Root, Jody, Scott D. Man, lots of love to you, my friend. Shy Puff, Twitching a Box, Trucker Steve, Molly, if you're still out there. Molly, again, really appreciate all the intel that you brought and the information. That is so cool. I love the fact that they don't even know what's going on. And you're like, well, on this day in this city, you did sweat through this suit. The purple one, the blue one, the blue, it's just the same one. He just has the same one. Does he have the same one, Molly? I know, you'll confirm. At Williams of John, or at What Was That Radio, if you care to. Okay, so if you're new to this and you've come along from them sharing it on their social media, whatwasthatradio.com. There's free apps to download for your Android and iOS devices. It is completely free to do so. It is a radio station that focuses purely on modern rock, nothing older than 2017, over 5,000 bands and songs, of which 90% of the playlist is from 2020 onwards. So it is a true one-stop shop of modern rock that gets me going. From all over the world, even though I'm based on Vancouver Island, having been living here for just short of 14 years this coming July of 2023. And that's about it, really. That's about it. If you want to dive into more conversations like this, please consider going to whatwasthatradio.com/podcast. I've spoken with the likes of Nothing But Thieves, to, oh my God, there's so many. Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, Spiral Drive, Kikapichi, The Tasers, Soft Cult, lots of bands in the last 2 years that the station has existed. And if you really enjoyed this and you want to support What Was That Radio and the future of the station that splits all earnings 50-50 to support the mental health and the passions of those in the community that support me, aka Wuzzers. Never done that before. Wuzzers. And also then independent bands around the world. In the 2 years I've existed, $30,000 raised from supporters, $24,500 now given away. And I stack produce to make money because I believe in the project. It's going to get there. Go to whatwasthatradio.com/subscribe. Maybe I'll see you on Patreon or in the Discord as well. Everything you need to know is at the website, which makes sense. Otherwise, my friends, whatever you're doing the rest of your day, and as always, please look after yourself. I hope there's some fun and smiles involved in the rest of your night as well, because we've got to cherish that positive. Where is he? Thanks for that, Jody. Little gold John over there. For now, lots of love and cheerio.